Okay, so what was all these questions about the seal nobody knew about? We are using a hammer though. What was that question?
Some people install it one way and the factory installed it the other way, so I want you to put that to rest once and for all.
What do you want to keep the oil in the motor or out of the motor? That's all I care about.
In the motor, obviously.
Well, it's not obvious to everybody.
Well, the factory, I guess.
Harley wants to keep the oil out of the motor, so they put the seal in like this, so the oil can't get past the lip. So the oil can't get into the motor. I kind of like the oil in the motor, so I put the seal in like it's supposed to go in, like that, so the oil stays in the motor, which is where I want it to be.
Me too.
You like that method?
Yes.
Keep it in the motor? Okay.
I like the idea of having oil in my motor.
Yeah. It tends to work better in there than on the outside.
Yeah, I think it'll run a little bit smoother.
So you always install that on there like that. That way you don't screw the seal up and beat it in with a big hammer. So I'm using my special pipe coupler tool.
Here's Jim's tool.
Jim might have saw that once. I got an extra one in case I need another one. I'm still working on the first one though.
In case that one breaks.
It's only been 30 years, so it's going to give up one of these days.
In case it breaks.
In case it breaks, yeah. So after you do that, you push it all the way in, and you should still have a seal in there. Alright. Now you're over to our oil pump area. Okay, we got to put a plug in the crank snout. So we have two options, with and without a hole. So we're going to use the one with the hole.
Because this is a 79, right?
That's because I want oil to go into the crank.
And what year did they have it without the hole?
72 and earlier. I don't like having to hit on it this hard either. Did you hear it all the way in?
Sounded like it.
It's in there. Now you blow all the damn crap out of it. Slivers of brass everywhere. Okay, so now it's, we get the crank restricted. That's a 90 thou hole each way, 93. Okay, so now we got all that done. Now we got to work on this here. This clip here is a little bit loose, so we need to tighten it up. I don't like them being loose like that. Okay, so we pull the clip off. I got to squeeze it with my pair of channel locks. I think they're in my bucket over here. So I just take these, see the width of the slot right there, I knock it down to 0. So you're going to squeeze it from top down, both sides. Then you're going to squeeze it 90 degrees apart to make the other circle go down. See how it's tighter now?
Mm-hmm.
But the clip is still relatively round, it's not oval. That's why you gotta bend it 3 times. Okay, then you put it back here on the clip and hopefully, or on the shaft, and hopefully it'll be tight. So I had those special tools I was using called my fingers. Okay, see how it's still pretty loose on there?
Right.
So we're going to have to
Tighten it up some more.
abuse it a little bit more. So now we're going to go down to no gap at all on that snap ring.
Is that a new clip or the original one?
It's a new one. Problem is they make the shafts undersized.
Mm.
You know, where they cut the grooves too deep. That hurt. That bent it way down that time. Now, if you bend them too much, they'll break, so you gotta be careful.
I think I'd rather, to be honest, I'd rather reach for a 120. Yeah. 120 is 130 horses, 135 horses.
Alright. See, now they're overlapping each other a little bit.
Yep.
So now it's more oval shaped also. It's not quite as round.
And it's a lower compression motor too, so it's like in the mid nines, 91.
Doesn't quite go on as easy now either.
Probably lasts a lot longer and be a little bit more forgiving like, as far as vibration goes. I mean, then there's room for head work and, you do head work and, cam or whatever. But it'd be more fucking inside an FXR, it would be a fucking nasty motor in an FXR.
Okay, now it's nice and tight, see? It won't
Yep.
spin. And we're 180 from the crank for the key, so the key can't come out at all.
Mm, yeah.
Okay, so now it's good and tight. If it's loose, it can just spin on there and it can eat itself through
Yeah,
or
that's
fall
no
out
good.
or who knows.
Have you ever had that happen? Or
I've seen them laying in the motor and take them apart, yeah. We have the same problem on the other side when we do the other side too. That's this clip here.
that's going to be even harder to get in.
So you do the same thing, you get bend, but these are really thin, they like to break when you bend them.
I guarantee you'd probably be able to shave about a G off of that 15. If we just went out there and glued on it all day and then held out, I think you'd probably take 15, but probably nothing less.
See, now the holes are kind of almost overlapping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got
These ones will snap off real easy. Be careful bending those ones. Okay, so now we got to goop up the case here for the gasket.
all fours to show something was closed or something. Then, at that point, then it would,
You want to goop up the whole surface because you got the gears in here, so you don't want the glue where that goes. You only want to do it where the holes are at here.
well, if it's fuzz, you'd be alright.
Gaskets up here.
I can kind of picture, putting your FXR together, fucking, I mean, seriously, everything all connected up, just going together, all fucking, everything all nice and hidden, you know? Yeah.
Okay, so we got that down. So let that hang there, let it dry a little bit. Get tacky. Now these gaskets are supposed to be slightly different than stock, but they look like they're stock ones to me. Yeah, I think these are stock gaskets. They say they're special, but
Mm.
I don't think so. Okay, I want to stick the gasket as cover, so the same thing, I put a little goop around the edges here. Give it something to stick to. Stay with the gear over here, of course. Alright. So this should be tacky enough, it should stick now, hopefully. Good. Alright, so that's good to go.
I've got 124 SMS motor that just dropped into that other one. Holds it down, you know.
Okay, now we get the gooey part to our assembly. There's the lid. So I like to put a little bit of oil in the keyways to help hold the keys in. And also lubricate the gear logo when you shut the gear on.
Brake all the time.
Okay, so you got 2 gears, tall, 2 short, 2 with keyways and 2 without keyways. So the keyways are the ones that go on the shaft. Lubricate that up a little bit. Put in our little baggie with the keys. Where'd that go off to? Great. There's a little small bag that had the keys in it.
Yeah, I don't know what she did with them.
Do anything as far as I remember. I do know that we need them though. Oh, here they go. Hidden.
Among all the other parts.
Yes. Okay, so you got the key in there. Slip it in. It's in there all the way. Then you go ahead and put a little more oil in the shaft here. And the key. You got the oil seal here. You got to lubricate that a little bit as you go in to make it tight. A lot of times I put a little bit of oil right in there just to make sure there's oil in there. Like that, just a little bit. Got to work it past the seal lip there a little bit. Spin around a little bit, make sure you get lube on it. Hold the key over here, you got access to the keyway. Grab one of your new keys over here. You can take the pliers, hold it with a plier, and stick it into the pump. Flatten it out. A little bit of oil in there again. And put the gear in there. Now you got to line up the keyway with the key. Key wants to go straight through. So you got to come in a little screwdriver and back it up on the back side to keep it from going through. If the key does a wheelie on you, it won't work. So the trick is to try to feel it as you just hit it. There, right there, I'm on the key. Come from the back side and push the key down. And it popped out. Yep. Key stood up too far. This gear is tight on the body, so it's not helping me. Okay, so that one in there. Once it's in there all the way, you're good. A little bit of oil in there. That lubricates this one as you put it in. It also pre-lubes it a little bit. Flip around, do the same thing on this side. Alright. That over a little bit. Okay, now this goes in, you want to make sure you got access to get the key in here. So you got to make it so you can do it. Put a little bit of oil up in here, so you shove it through the bush and it gets a little oil on the bushing, so it doesn't run dry.
Did you guys try to go in at a lower offer yet? Yeah, can you
Once you get the shaft to come through, you gotta stop. You gotta get the gear in there. That's what I don't see.
That's the fun part there.
Where's the oil pump gear? That's the only gear we don't have here. What happened to that?
Is it on the reg?
No. Well, I get all the other gears except for the one on the oil pump. What happened to that? Wonderful. Missing gear.
What about on the old oil pump?
Where's that at?
You tell me.
Alright, we're going to have to stop and go find it real quick. I thought I had everything here, but obviously not. Okay, we don't need the new gears.
We found the gear, the old
The
gear.
old one mixing the old pump. It's got some wear on it, but it's not bad. Good. Okay, back on the road. Okay, this here you want to look for the least amount of the chamfer in here. So both sides have a pretty heavy chamfer, but this is the lowest one on this side, so we use this. So when you put this in there, you got to put it so the key is on the outside, so you can slide it in. Once you're in there, you just slide it on in. Okay, see how I got the key lined up on the inside in there? See, they're both top and bottom are lined up. Then we hold the key and we put it in there sideways. So we got the key right here, we slip it in. Which is fun to do, especially with the massive amount of lights around here. That's alright.
I remember seeing a recent video of you doing the same thing, having a lot of fun.
Yeah, if there's any burrs on anything, it makes it really interesting. You have to be lined up just perfect. These pliers are not exactly new anymore, so they don't quite hold as good. And being dark does not help. But that's okay, we can just use feel. Turn it 180. I'm going to take my snap ring. Sharp edge goes out, so that's the sharp edge there. So that goes out. There you go, get that on there. Now you don't want to expand it any more than you have to, because the more you expand it, the more it stretches and it stays stretched.
And the looser the fit.
And it's loose. If it's loose, it's no good. If you put it in there, you make sure it's in there all the way. And then you try to slide it, and if it's, see how it's got drag on it? That means we're good. If you put the light on, you might see better. So see how it's in there?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you turn it, it's got drag on it, it's not just going to roll around. If it spins, it'll come off. Also, the snapper's got a groove on it, the key will actually go out the end of the groove. I've had that happen on my bike too. See how loose that is? Alright, so now that's on there. So now we go ahead and put the Allen the bolts over here on the cam cover. Damn it, on the oil pump. Well, this one you want to put the screw, the washers on here, didn't you?
Yes, one all washers.
Okay. So I have to go get some washers too. Where's the other screw? Why am I missing everything around here?
You got a few screws loose? Like me?
Missing screws. Must be one of these cam cover screws got mixed over. So I'm going to do that. Where's my Allen wrench go away to?
Right there. Oh.
Okay, here's why those washers right there. See how the washers do not fit in this cover here?
Mm-hmm. They're too big.
Right, so we cannot use washers on that. That's why we didn't have the washers for those ones. See now they go in there all the way?
Yep.
So there's no washers on these top two bolts. Alright, so Okay, I run down until they just touch there.
I can understand.
Back them off. See what the free play is right there?
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of center it in between the two and then tighten it down.
Understand why you look at it like that, you know?
So torque setting, or just do it by hand?
Just torque the shit out by hand. And we'll go ahead and put the Allens on here, or the washers, excuse me. We've got our cover over here. And we're going to do the same trick. We're going to center it up a little bit before we tighten them.
Yeah, yeah, take $1 million cash out of my safe and then fucking document 100,000. I told my attorney too. I said, hey, there's $1 million cash in there. And we went and talked to them. They admitted to it. They said, yeah, we got it. I said, tell your client that we're gonna convert it into, you know, something else, and that's gonna raise his level, and he's gonna do more time. So, tell him have a nice Christmas.
Okay. Backed off. Center it up. Try to make it more even on the outside. It doesn't hurt either. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's nice to be sort of
Yeah.
close. Makes it look better. Okay, that's initial torquing. Now you gotta make sure this turns over here. Screwdriver. So this should be able to turn. It's turning there.
Mm-hmm.
It's freeing up now. A little bit of that glue in there, the sealer. Now the sealer's moved out of the way. Now it turns freer, see?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Come back over here and give it a little more again. Put the official torque on it. See, I look at that when it's twisting, it's good.
That's a Tatro torque method.
Yeah, that's a stretch gauge, you stretch it. Okay, now you got a penny shaft in here. So you got two keyways right here.
Mm-hmm.
So this one here takes two back keys. Put them right there. And you take our gear. So you got a flat edge and a beveled edge. Bevel goes in. Line the key up a little bit. Where's my key at? Key at. So it's dark, so
Oh, it's
it's hard to see.
oh, turn the light back on. Yeah, it's just popping a wheelie. There you go.
Yeah, but it has to engage in the pump gear behind it, so you got to kind of work them down together. It's not even feeling the damn thing at all.
Well, thank you. I still feel good.
Yeah.
15 rounds right now if you want to go.
Ooh, shit, man.
Damn, that's gonna be a pain.
Yeah, you took me out.
Damn, that thing's being a pain in the house.
Got a little chill going. Right. This second one.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
holding the
we're on
key,
the
the gear,
second
and I'm
one
just
today.
rotating the bottom gear and it shoves it in. Usually I just kind of rotate them, it goes in, but this one did not want to do that. Okay, so you got to make sure it's in there. Now if you turn it backwards, see how it comes off? So you got to turn the crank forward to make it stay in the inside. And just spin it to make sure that it spins freely.
One of the days.
Doesn't lock up.
Just out there now, I don't remember.
Seems to be turning correctly.
You can go to that toy run thing yesterday.
I'm going to put a little bit of lubricant on there.
I ran into somebody I hadn't seen for a long time, like 8 years. I used to work with a guy.
Worm gears don't like to be dry.
Arclo?
Okay, make sure it turns freely.
There you go.
It's working good.
Yeah, take it.
So that's good.
What's the name?
Okay, then we
Brandon.
take our spacer,
Oh, okay.
stick it in there. And that's there. Take our keyway.
Big dude. Like way taller, like 6'6" or something.
We take our gear with a key. Rotate until
Yeah,
it clicks
dad's
in.
gonna-
Shove it
his
in.
name's Pete.
And you put your nut on there. It's a left-handed thread.
English Pete?
I live over
So it
in
turns backwards.
Wildcat, yeah.
English Street.
I guess it's what it's called.
Yeah.
I've never heard that name before.
Here's my special tool I use. Turns it up.
His son named Brandon. I worked with him a long time with his cell phone company.
Tool around here.
I heard him talking about, man, that's how like Brandon's boy. There he was.
Okay, so then we go ahead and pull this in. Get right torque to it.
I don't know.
So now that's on there. Now you want to spin it and make sure everything's turning straight and true. No wobbling. We don't see wobbles here, nothing on the gear or nothing on the inside. Yeah, turning freely too. See, we're turning nice and free.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Maybe I'll do something, huh?
Talk out there.
Excuse me.
Okay, after you do that, then I go ahead and put the oil in here. This will pre-lube the pump a little bit also. Make sure you get a little bit on the edge of the gear, on the side of the pump there too. Okay, so the other one, here's a plunger, pressure relief plunger. It takes the heavy spring. Push it in evenly. The ball bearing goes on the inner one. And you got the real light duty spring that goes in there like that. The upper cover is the same, so it doesn't matter which one goes where. This is probably not going to fit in here very well. It doesn't fit with the regular fitting. We put that big one in there. It's really going to be hard to get in here.
Should have put that fitting in after the fact then, right?
Doesn't matter. It has to go in at some point.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't hit on it, it doesn't really matter. See, tight. Okay, this one here is a little harder to get in there right now, so we use a little wrench on that one. If we have to, we'll pull the fitting out, but I don't really want to do that, so just go ahead and do it this way, a little bit longer, but no big deal. These things should just thread right in, they're not, they're kind of tight on the threads a little. Probably from the chrome buildup on the threads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, once it's in all the way, you switch over to the box wrench. Torque to it. Okay, at this point you want to make sure everything's plugged up. You got the fitting there, that hole's plugged, this hole's got stuff in it. There's no empty holes anywhere. Because it's a bitch to put that one in there after it plugs all together and you get a big oil leak.
Yeah.
I've done that once.
I bet.
Make sure everything still turns freely. What was that noise? Must be a check valve. Sucking air on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, quit doing it now. You got the oil on top of the valve.
Oh.
You know the gear teeth are primed. They're sucking air. Good sign. Okay, here's your tappet screen. So this goes like this, and it pushes it into the case. Some people put them upside down for some reason. And it takes the same plug as these ones here. Now this is on the later shovel motors. On the earlier ones, there's different threads in all these different pumps. There's 3 different fittings.
The tappet screen bolt.
Yeah. Well, this one, all 3 plugs are the same because it's got the light pump.
Yeah.
On the earlier pumps, these fittings here, this one and this one are different than this one. So there's 3 different plugs.
Wow.
Sometimes they standardize these 2, but this one's always different. But when you get the later pump, all 3 are the same plug. Makes it real simple. Now, see how I got that fitting there at an angle?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're on the motor, the hose comes out this way,
Mm-hmm.
and you can go on the bike instead of going here, making an S and going like that.
Yeah. Okay, I can adjust it if I
Especially
have
on a
to.
4-speed bike, there's a frame rail right here between.
Yeah.
It's actually a bar that goes back and forth.
Right.
So if you go straight down, you get right into that bar area.
I'm gonna have a rubber hose.
So
on there.
this is that's why I angle them a little bit.
Yeah.
If you angle up too high, then it gets a little close in here, but like that works good. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and find out if the can and that stuff works.
This is a moment of reckoning.
So let me go ahead and clean this up a little bit. Stop the video. We'll come back in a couple minutes.